Welcome to this episode of She's All Books. Come and hang out for book reviews, bookish content, and nostalgic vibes. I hope you enjoy this episode.
Welcome to this episode of She's All Books. Here with me today is Rebecca Garner. Thank you, Rebecca, for joining me. Rebecca is a teenage girl at heart and a fellow nostalgia enthusiast, just like me. She is a cat lady. A cat lady, mama, and author. I can't even chat tonight. And I can relate to you with the mama piece. I don't have any cats, but I do like cats. But thank you so much for joining me, Rebecca. I'm so excited for you to be here and for us to chat all things you, your books, and bookish content. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. I mentioned this before we started recording, but I saw your content and I was like, I need to be on the show. So I'm so pumped to be here.
Yes, and likewise, when you reached out and I was able to dive into your first book, which we're going to talk all about in just a moment, I was reading this and I was like, dang, this is absolutely hitting home with me. It was so nostalgic. It takes place, we'll talk about. Book one was middle school. Am I correct with that?
Mm-hmm.
And then I know book two, which comes out early fall, is based in high school, but it was just really hitting all of those fields and just took me back to when I was young and a student and playing these games like Paper Fortune Teller and MASH and things that I try to incorporate into my book account. So this is a perfect match. I'm so glad you found my account, and I think you said it was through Patty Hernandez, correct?
It was, yes, the fabulous Patty.
Yeah, she was one of my first guests on the show, and she's amazing, and I'm so happy to be able to connect with you and dive in. Thank you.
Let's do it.
Awesome. So you might already know, if not, I like to set that nostalgia vibe that we love so much, and I use my Paper Fortune Teller to guide our questions.
Love it.
I want to know, I've been asking people this lately because I've been interviewing a lot of authors in Canada recently, but did you call it a Paper Fortune Teller or a cootie catcher?
I think it was both, but I think primarily it was a cootie catcher.
Okay, so everyone, where are you located again? What
I'm in
state?
the Midwest.
Midwest, okay. So it was a Paper Fortune Teller for me, obviously, that's what I've been overly using, but everyone I've talked to in Canada is cootie catcher, and a couple other people in the Midwest have said cootie catcher. So I'm in my mind collecting this data because I had never heard of cootie catcher until somebody was like, oh, no. I think it was Daisy Jane, and I met her in person. She's like, that's a cootie catcher. I was like, oh my gosh, whoa. So I like to ask the guests that now. So for you, yeah. I will call it a cootie catcher for this episode, even though it's a Paper Fortune Teller for me. If you're watching this and you don't know what this is just a fun little origami paper game that we would play. I played it a lot in elementary school, middle school, where you would fold this up. Oftentimes you would just put yes or no's inside of this, and you would ask the Paper Fortune Teller or cootie catcher a question, and you would find out if it was yes or no. And what's on the outside are 4 different colors. On mine, I have pink, orange, green, and blue. On the inside, we have 8 numbers, and under each number, I have a corresponding question for Rebecca. So that's how I'm using it, but there's many ways that you can use this. To get started, Rebecca, do you want pink, orange, green, or blue?
I'm going to go with pink.
Pink. All right. It's a great color. PINK. And your number options are 1, 2, 5, or 6.
5.
Awesome. All right. So question number 5. Can you tell us a little bit about your writing process? I don't know if you have a set writing process, but just let us and the readers, the viewers know a little bit about how you approach writing a book.
Yeah, absolutely. So it has definitely morphed over time. But the way that it works for me now, I am, a pantser. I do not plan everything out in detail. I have a general idea of where it's going. Before I wrote book 2, I did a very basic this, then this, then this, then this. So I knew mostly where it was going, and then I just dive in. and I just write, and we go from there, and just kind of wing it, until the story feels done, until I feel like we're
Yeah.
at, that ending point.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And with this particular like series that we're talking about today, like I would imagine, I'm not a writer, but I would imagine it would be kind of hard to like know where you're stopping within the series. Was it easy for you to decide where like book one was ending and like where you wanted to pick book two up? Is it the transition from middle school to high school, or like was that an easy decision for you to make as a writer?
No, it wasn't.
Okay.
And when I wrote Why Won't My Boobs Grow, I wasn't,
Yeah.
when I started the book, I didn't anticipate it necessarily becoming a series. But then I got to the end and I was like, well, her story doesn't feel done. And so I was like, all right, this is going to be a series. And actually, the
Right.
books that inspired my writing, primarily, they're actually books I read when I was in middle school. I don't know if you've ever heard of Angus Thongs and Full Frontal Snogging.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Fan. So those books
Yeah.
really inspired my style and what I was trying to do. So I was like, all right, let's do this. Let's make this a series. And then then it was the question of, okay, do we pick up immediately or
Right.
do we pick up
A little bit later.
when she was in high school? And I decided to go to high school because I felt like I had a couple of ideas of what I wanted the next book to contain. And I didn't want to just write fluff in order to
Right.
get there. So I was like,
Right.
we're going to skip. We're going to finish towards the end of 8th grade and we're just going to start right at the beginning of high school.
I love that. That's awesome. And I think I forgot to say, and you just did say the title is Why Won't My Boobs Grow? And I absolutely love that title. And for those of you who are watching this and maybe you have not heard of Rebecca and her books, this book is a young adult book. It is set in middle school, like we just mentioned. Emma, correct?
Mhm.
I wanted to say Emily, and I'm like, it's Emma. Is the main character. And the way that the book is written by Rebecca is so crafty because it has in the cafeteria with a timestamp, different things like that just made it so fun to flip through. I read it so quickly, and it wasn't because it's it did. The reason I was able to read it so quickly is because I didn't want to stop. I wanted to see what was happening next. I wanted to follow her thought process. And the title of it is just we've all probably have asked ourselves that question, as a teenager, why, what do I need to do? How do I make this happen?
Right.
And the book is just so relatable like that throughout the process. I mean, throughout the whole entire plot of this book. It was just, it's so good. So highly recommend it if you are new to Rebecca and her books. That's the storyline of Why Won't My Boobs Grow? And then title of book number 2, Rebecca, just so that it's fresh in my head. Can you? I know it's about boyfriend.
Yes. It's called Dear Boyfriend and Other High School Dilemmas.
Yes. I highly recommend these books. Even if you're not I don't know if I love YA books, you will absolutely love and relate to this book, especially if you're nostalgic like we are.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, so next question. Pink, it's not showing up. I need to go back over these with permanent marker. Pink, orange, green, or blue?
Green.
Green. All right, GREEN. And your number options are 3, 4, 7, or 8?
3.
3. All right. Question number 3. I have to write these down. Okay. Question number 3 is, when somebody reads your book, how do you hope it makes them feel? So what are you hoping that readers are getting out of this book or taking away from this book?
I love this question. And I think for me, there's 2 answers, because I think it's different when it's a teenager reading it and when it's an adult reading it. So obviously my primary target audience is teenagers, and really why I wrote this book was so that teenage girls felt seen and heard and that they're not alone, so that's what I hope for them. And then for adults reading it, because it is absolutely a book that teenagers and adults alike can read. Even my husband read it and enjoyed it, and he's a 34-year-old man. So,
Yeah.
but for adults, I really just hope that it's a fun trip down memory lane, and brings back all of those good nostalgic vibes, and it's just, a fun read.
It absolutely is. And reading it, it was so funny because I'm not going to ask you. I was about to lead into a question that I'm about to ask you, but when I was reading this, I had really, really bad anxiety when I was in middle school and high school, and I could relate to Emma and some of the scenes where like she didn't want the teacher to call on her and like different things like that. Where it's like, oh my gosh, like you almost like start to like think about like young Jordan, like and what I went through when I was like, and
Yes.
it does like click with you. But I also feel as if I were like you said, reading it when I was a teenager, it would almost have been like validating, like,
Mhm.
oh, okay, so like all these things I'm feeling and wondering and thinking and going through, like it's a lot of people are going through this. Like somebody wrote a book about it. So
Yes.
that's what
Yes.
was really cool about this book is that you do have those two different audiences that are going to feel two different things, and not many books can do that. So that's really unique about this book and was
Thank
very
you.
enjoyable for me. Yeah,
Thank you so much
absolutely.
for saying it. And I just like too, I love so much what you said too about like your younger self, because if you look at the dedication of the book, it's
Yes.
dedicated to my 13-year-old self.
Yes,
Like
absolutely. I noticed that. Yep.
yeah, so that's who I wrote it for really. It's like almost like a love letter to my teenage self. Like it literally says,
Yep.
to 13-year-old Bex, they grew.
Yep. Yes, they grow. Like figuratively, like all of those
Yeah,
things, like you grow through it, like
absolutely.
yeah, absolutely. Okay, next question. Pink, orange, green, or blue? Blue. All right. BLUE. And you have options 4, 7, or 8 since we already did 3. Who
4.
else made 4? Okay. I don't write these down. I forget. And the pen just fell. There we go. All right. Question number 4. All right. Was there a sense of like a therapeutic like reward while you were writing this book? Like, did you feel like I don't know, going through all those nostalgic memories? Like, was there a bit of like a therapeutic gain from writing this book?
Yeah, I think so yes. Kind of
Yeah.
like we were just talking about, like I said, like so much of Emma is inspired by my own experiences as a teenager. And like I said, like it really is kind of like a love letter to my teenage self. All of those
Yeah.
like things that I experienced, wondering if my boobs were going to grow, wondering if a boy liked me, wondering why my friends were mad at me, trying to figure out
Yeah.
the right thing to
Yeah.
say or do, or being embarrassed about a zit on my face. Um,
Yes. Yeah.
and just like getting all of that out on the paper and like having it happen and being in control also of what happens. Yeah, absolutely. I do. I definitely think it was a little bit therapeutic for me.
I get a little bit of like a therapeutic reward just from like the little bit of like I'm not writing a book, but just the creating the content with a nostalgic vibe like really does like kind of take me back and bring back some of those like really good memories and things from growing up. But I recently noticed I've been like leaning towards books that like are of the same era, like when I was in college and they're about a college experience. Like those like relatable, nostalgic ones. And I'm like, am I like seeking therapy from these? Because it really is like it gives you like this like connection to these
Hmm.
books that like you connect with like your younger self.
Hmm.
So I was wondering like how that would be like as an author writing those.
Yeah,
Like you said, there's definitely a vibe or a reward that's therapeutic from it.
absolutely.
Awesome. All right. Moving on. Pink, orange, green, or blue?
Let's do pink again.
Pink. All right. PINK. And your color. Your number choices this time are 7 or 8 because we already did 3 and 4.
8.
8. All right. Question number 8. Okay. This one's moving into the next book that's coming out early fall. And I know that you might not be able to tell us like a whole bunch about it without giving away spoilers. And so I understand that. But what can you tell us about Emma's journey in book number 2?
Yes, absolutely. I can talk plenty about it without
Okay,
giving away
good.
spoilers. So really Emma's
Just like,
journey
yeah.
So really Emma's journey in Dear Boyfriend. So Why Won't My Boobs Grow is very much a coming of age story. It's very much like Judy Bloom vibes. And Dear Boyfriend is kind of moving on from that coming of age and coming into this age and coming into being a teenager. And one of my beta readers actually gave feedback, and she said, you do a nice job of like taking this kind of like from like Disney vibes more to like PG. So Emma grows up a little bit, and like we mentioned before, she's in high school, and so there's a lot of things that come along with that. So she's navigating dynamic shifts within her friend group, and she's got some stuff going on with her sister, and then she also gets her first boyfriend, which is so exciting.
Yes.
But of course, things don't
Comes with its own bag of things.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly. So yeah.
Yeah. That is so exciting. I'm really excited to dive into it. When I've never considered myself like much of a reader when I was like in high school and stuff, but I did like devour books like Gossip Girl series and like
Yes.
yes. And I just like really ate those up. And I feel like even though that's a completely different trope of books, like that high school is going to be very nostalgic too. So I'm all ready for it. I'm excited. I'm so excited for that book. Pink, orange, green, or blue?
Blue.
Blue. All right. BLUE. And your number options are 1, 2, or 6.
1.
Question number 1. Okay, one of my favorite questions to ask authors is, what are 3 things that readers probably don't know about you or might not know about you?
Ooh, okay, this is fun.
It's a hard one. And it's actually like, if you were to ask me this question, I'd probably like give you the meanest look because I hate these types of icebreaker questions, but I love learning this about authors.
I love like fun facts and stuff like this.
Okay,
so
good.
No worries. I guess the first thing is my favorite food is nachos, but like my favorite kind are just like the ones with like Tostitos, tortilla chips, and shredded cheese that you make in your microwave.
Okay, yes. And my husband makes it in the microwave, and I yell at him. It has to be made in the oven under the broiler, personally, but we eat those all the time.
So good. So good.
Yes, so good.
Okay, number 2. We mentioned at the top of the episode, like I am a cat lady, but I also have a really soft spot for elephants. And I foster an orphaned elephant in Canada.
Oh my goodness, that's exciting.
Yeah.
Does the elephant have a name?
Yes, his name is Mactao. It's through the Sheldrick Trust. And basically they like take in orphaned elephants and other animals as well, and then basically help reintegrate them into the wild.
That is amazing.
It's really cool.
That is awesome.
It's really cool.
Very cool.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, and then so my final thing. This one's hard. Like the first 2 like came to me very quickly, and now this one I'm not so sure. Okay, so for my third fact, I think I'll go with one of my favorite movies is About Time.
Okay.
It's a rom-com. Rachel McAdams is in it, and I love her. And it's
like
one of my
Time Traveling Wife?
No, it's called About Time, but there is time travel in it.
Okay.
And it's got that British guy. He's kind of like goofy looking. He's got red hair. I can't remember his name. No.
Yes. I know exactly the movie you're talking about. Yes. Okay.
Yes. I'm a big, I love this movie. And one of the reasons I love it so much is there's no third act breakup. Like he doesn't do anything stupid to like mess up his relationship with Rachel McAdams. And I love it. And actually, my wedding song, like with my husband, is from About Time.
Ooh.
Yeah. And it ended up being that because we watched the movie together, and then we both, like the next day, without like talking about it, downloaded the song.
Oh my god.
Like, hey, like I loved the song. Like I downloaded it, and I was like, me too.
That is crazy. And then that was your wedding song. That's so perfect. I don't have a cute story like that, but I love that. That is adorable.
Thank you.
Those are 3 very interesting things. Thank you for sharing them. That is exciting. I might ask you for the link to the cool elephant fostering
Absolutely.
in the captions of this video for viewers.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes.
Right,
It's
so
an
I'll do
incredible
that.
organization.
Thanks. All right. Okay. The next question. You get your color options: blue, pink, orange, or green.
I don't think I've done orange yet, so let's do that.
Okay. Orange. I'm surprised I'm spelling things correctly. Okay. And your number options are only number 7 on this group because we already did 3, 4, and 8.
Number 7 it is.
We're still going to have to go through all the paper fortune teller stuff or cutie catcher things. Okay. Question number 7. I know that, tropes differ for different genres, but could you share with us your favorite tropes to read and your favorite tropes to write?
Okay. So to write, my favorite tropes to write, which are not like fully like, it's not tropes,
Right.
like whatever. You know what I mean. Female friendships, strong female friendships, and awkward yet relatable teenage experiences.
I love it. The relatable piece is so key. Yes.
Yeah. And then like to read, like I love, like if I'm like reading romance, like I love enemies to lovers. And I literally can't think of anything else.
It's fine. Enemies to lovers. There's a lot of enemies to lovers books out there.
Love it.
Awesome. Yes. All right. And when you think about like Why Won't My Boobs Grow and then the Dear Boyfriend for book number 2, what, if any, like tropes would you pull from that? Like the relatable, like main character for sure. Are there any other ones that like first instantly come to mind for you?
In my book?
For either of your books, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The strong friendship female. I can't even talk. Listen to me. The strong friendships for sure.
Yes, absolutely.
Are there any other like micro tropes or anything? I'm trying to think when I was reading it.
I think those are the big ones
too. Yeah.
There are. I'm like pulling up my Instagram so I can look at my.
I feel like there was like really good like I'm trying to think of what it might not even be micro trope, but like I love like the sister dynamics. Like that.
So I have like sibling relationships.
Yes, the sibling.
And then I also, what's another big one too is like self-confidence.
Yes. Well, and she was like navigating that the whole time. Yeah. So I like to dive into those little micro.
Yeah.
All right.
Absolutely.
Perfect. Next, blue, green, pink, or orange?
Green.
You can kind of see orange show up on the screen. I gotta pick some. GREEN, and your number options now for this batch is 2 or 6.
2.
All right. Question number 2. What do you love about the Bookstagram or the BookTube, Book Talk? What do you love about the community?
I just love the community. Like I love, like when I like got on Instagram and like started like diving into Bookstagram and like sharing like my author content, like I did not expect it to just be like such a fun and welcoming community, like, and to like meet so many incredible people who like, like are my internet friends, but like they're my friends though. Like they're not just like internet friends.
Right.
And so that, just the community of it is what I love.
A community feel, and I feel like you just really can connect with each other, and it does. Like I'm like, they're my book friends, but like they're my friends. Like I can like text them about anything and like ask them questions, and we're always like willing to help each other out and make connections for each other. And I think that one of my favorite things about it is like getting to connect with authors and like hype up the books and like to get really excited about them, but also to like ask you a million questions about the books because selfishly I just need to know all the answers. But it is a fun community for sure. All right, so you only have one left, but for the nostalgia piece of it, we're going to still do the paper fortune teller. Okay. Awesome. Pink, orange, green, or blue?
Well, I started with pink and I'm going to finish with pink.
Okay. PINK. Oh, and we landed on it. Your number option is 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. All right. Okay, so for question number 2, I already in my mind have an answer for this, but I want to hear your answer first. You are the guest and the author of these books. If you had to choose a song or show, movie, anything from like the 2000s or 90s that you would say like reminds you of the vibe of your book or books, what would you choose? If that makes sense.
It
I
does, but it's so hard. Okay,
It's
hold on.
hard, but I feel like
It's not hard. I know exactly what it is because, well, I had two, but I was like, immediately my brain went to songs, and I was like, oh
I
my
know.
God, I wanna-
So maybe go with the songs because they have like a song playlist at the beginning
Yes,
of the book. So I like that option there. And
yes.
then some people like prefer to do like the movie show thing. Yes.
Okay, Lizzie McGuire.
That's what I was gonna say. And you brought it up earlier about the shirt,
Yeah.
and I was like, when you said Lizzie McGuire, I'm like, your
Yep.
book reminds me of Lizzie McGuire. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely, Lizzie McGuire.
Yes, 100%. That is like the perfect for book 1 for sure. That was
Yeah.
for me, and maybe for book 2. I just don't know yet. Awesome. Well, thank you for playing Favorite Fortune Teller with me, or Cootie Catcher,
Yes.
and answering
Thank you
those
for inviting me,
questions.
Zoe.
Yes,
Loved it.
I absolutely loved it. I had a question come through from Instagram when I opened up the chat. I'm going to check to see if more questions came or questions for you came through. But let me ask you the question that I do have, and I don't want to word it incorrectly. All right, this one's from Natasha, and Natasha wants to know if you know yet how many books will be in this series.
Okay, this is an excellent question, Natasha. I don't know right now, but one of the things that I want to do once Dear Boyfriend is like my hands are wiped of it, and not like that's the wrong way to phrase that. Once it's off my plate, like once it's published, and like I said, like I'm kind of a pantser. However, knowing that this is going to be a series, I need to like outline things a little bit because I'm afraid I'm going to write something and then like a little bit later, I'm going to be like, oh no, why did I do that?
Right. Yeah.
No. But what I will say though is my intention is to go through high school with Emma. Like it'll end with her finishing high school. So like hopefully, you know, like the readers can grow with Emma.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
There you go, Natasha. And I did have one more other one come through. Let's see.
Love it.
And I didn't post this until like 45 minutes before we were recording, so I didn't give people a lot of heads up. But what I can do is, as they trickle in after this recording, is share them to my stories for you maybe to answer.
Yeah.
You can figure out.
Would love to.
Perfect. Okay. All right. And then the second question is from somebody named Amanda. Hi, Amanda. Amanda wants to know if any of the side characters in When Will My Boobs Grow, will they get a story? Or would you cross that? I mean, like, she didn't say this part, but I'm wondering, like, is there like a nope, absolutely not? Or do you know the answer to that?
So I don't know the answer for sure. However, I will say like, so Emma's like besties are Ruby and Cher.
Yes.
And don't tell Emma, but like Ruby's my favorite.
Okay.
However, Ruby is black. And as a white woman, I won't write as as a black character. So maybe it could be something like some sort of a collaboration with someone someday. But as of right now, I don't see it happening as much as I would love to bring Ruby fully to life.
Ruby would have an amazing book for sure. She's great. Yeah, absolutely. Well, there you go, Amanda. There's your answer. And so maybe
we'll see.
Right. We'll see. The side characters are great in this book, and the dynamic between like Ruby and Sharon, Emma, and like the way that they interact and everything. I just, like I mentioned to you before, like the anxiety I had when I was like in middle school and high school was so insanely strong that when I'm reading about like her wondering if her friends are mad at her, like I always worried about my friends being mad at me, like way more than Emma did. But so some of those characters getting their little spotlight would be fun for sure.
Yeah.
All right. So ask questions. If I get more before we end recording, we can pop back over there. If not, I'll
Yeah.
tag in the stories. All right.
Awesome.
So this next part of the episode is totally up to you. You get to decide between 3 nostalgic games that all have bookish twists to them. So keeping it PG over here. The options are Truth or Dare, Never Have I Ever, or MASH.
How is a one supposed to? Okay, let's do Truth or Dare.
Truth or Dare. Okay, awesome. Okay, so it's Truth or Dare with a bookish twist. Keeping it book related, Bookstagram related, any type of like content that revolves around books. And then what we'll do is we can go back and forth, each of us 3 times. So like I can ask you Truth or Dare 3 times and vice versa. Does that sound good to you?
Oh my gosh, I have to come up with questions?
Yes. It's hard. You've done it. I can help you. If
Oh
you
my
would
gosh,
say
you might have to.
I can help you. For example, in the past, like authors have dared me to read certain books that they really like, things like that. Yes.
Okay.
Or we can switch and do different games. Totally up to you.
No, let's try it. Let's try it. I want to do it.
But do you want me to do the first one, or do you want to ask the first
No,
one?
you definitely have to do the first one.
All right. So Truth or Dare? Which one?
Truth.
Truth. Okay. Tell the truth. How long did it take you to write When Will My Boobs Grow?
Okay, this is a long-winded answer, and I apologize in advance.
Okay.
So I used to be a middle school teacher,
Okay.
and I left teaching about 7 years ago now, and I had a lot of guilt about leaving. But I knew that that was the right thing for me and for my mental health and for my happiness. And I wanted to still do something that could maybe like have an impact. And I had started writing again. I was writing like a blog at the time. And I had like some ideas for Emma like swirling around in my brain. And I was like, well, maybe I can write a young adult book and hopefully impact, teenagers that way. So when I left my job, the summer after like finishing school and starting my new job, I started at the end of August. I wrote every day. So I wrote the bulk of Why Won't My Boobs Grow that summer.
Okay.
And then I finished it in like, I don't know, January or February. And then I found out I was pregnant. And I decided I closed the
Right, of course. Yeah.
for a long time.
Yeah.
And then 2020 rolled around and everyone was at home baking bread and knitting. And I was like, I need a hobby.
Yes.
Yeah. I was like, I need a hobby. And I was like, I wrote that book that one time. And so I opened the book and I reread it and I was like, this isn't total garbage. Like maybe I should try and do something with it. And so then I did.
That is awesome.
So the whole way around, it was about like from writing that first draft to getting it published was about 5 years. But like time actually spent writing was probably like time spent writing and editing and working on it was probably more like 1.5 years, 2 years.
Awesome. Wow, that's really cool and very relatable because having kids, I can attest, will really put a pause in certain things that you are currently working on.
Right.
Also, I used to be a teacher and then now school counselor, and so I can totally relate to you with a lot of that. And also the characters in the book, I can look at it from that lens as well.
I will say being a teacher too, like was very helpful in writing the school scenes, which is probably also why there's not as much of it in the second book.
That makes sense, right?
Because like I'm so like removed from it now. But
and also high school is a little bit different than middle school. Yeah. Middle school, I mean, God bless you. That's a tough, challenging age group for sure. Perfect. All right. And so now you get to ask me.
Okay. Truth or dare?
Yeah. I'll copy you and I'll do truth.
Okay.
Which is actually probably really hard for you, actually. But
no, I thought of one.
Good. Awesome.
What was the last book you DNF'd.
I did not finish. Okay, so to preface this, I am a major mood reader. So at any given time, I start like 3 to 4 books and I kind of just follow which one I get really into, but I'll circle back like most of the time to those. I will say I did not finish. This is gonna like really out me. Like this is like a real true DNF.
Oh my gosh, I had such a good question.
And this is gonna out me because I was in a book club for it. I had to fake it till I make it through the last part of it. And they probably will see this and totally give me crap. I was meeting with them before this recording. Iron Flame. By Rebecca Garner, which I like. I'm not saying I will never not finish it.
Wow. Okay.
I'll read the third. I'll read the third for sure. So I definitely will have to eventually finish it. But that was a bit ago. And I liked Fourth Wing. I liked Iron Flame. I was scared of where it was going, I think, and I just stopped.
Oh my god. Okay. I haven't read Fourth Wing yet. It's on my wish list, and like no one bought it for me for Christmas, which was like kind of rude. But I haven't read it. Yeah, I have not read that. I want to read that, but like that's oh my gosh, that's
I know. And I was in a whole book club for it, and once we got to the part where I stopped reading, I was just like listening. It's like I know what happens.
Yeah.
I know what happens, and I will skim through that last end part of it to get to book 3 because I will read book 3 because like I'm in it. I'm in the series now. Like I need to continue reading it, and I am interested to see what happens. It just I don't know. I think I was like, where is this going? I don't think I like where this is going, and I was like, and never finished reading it. It's right over there. So there you go. There's some juicy gossip right there with my DNF. That's a pretty big one, and I did recently get to meet Rebecca Garner a reading convention I was at. I hope she doesn't ever see that. Not that she'd care. All right, truth or dare.
Okay, well, I'll switch it up this time. Even though when I was a teenager, I never picked dare, but I'm gonna do it right now.
Okay, yay. So I love this. Okay, I am going to dare you. Whatever your next work in progress is that you're writing, I dare you to try to add in like a 90s or early 2000s something. So like just a reference to something. It could be a song, it could be a show, it could be anything. Is that
okay? Number one
for you?
Love it.
Okay,
totally.
Yeah. And then I'm gonna read it, and I'm like, yes.
Number 2, there is a reference.
Already done. It's been
the original Mean Girls in Dear Boyfriend.
Oh gosh, good. That's one of my favorite movies, and I will watch that movie on repeat. It's so good.
So good. And actually, Cher is like named for Cher from Clueless.
Okay, and I was when you named Cher and I was reading the book, I was like, I don't know many Chers other than the singer Cher or Cher from Clueless, who was like amazing. Like I just absolutely love Cher and Dion and all of them.
Yeah.
So that's I'm glad you said that because I was wondering if that had anything to do with Clueless. Well, there you go. You've already done that, Dare.
I'll do it for the next one too. Don't worry.
Yeah. Okay. All right. You can ask now.
Okay, that was fun. Truth or dare?
I will do dare too. I'll be a good sport.
Okay. I dare you. Okay, this might be controversial, but it's what I just thought of.
Okay.
I dare you to read the last page of like the next book you read.
Okay. Like right now.
Like no, like before like you read it.
Okay,
like,
I'll do it. I'll tell you, I'm gonna start I started it earlier today. Play for Keeps by oh my gosh, Miller's the last name. Why am I blinking? Is it Rena Miller?
I don't know the author's name, but I've heard the book.
And I will, when I'm done with this recording, I will read that last page and hopefully it will be great because it's really good so far.
Okay. Ooh.
So that's a good one.
Okay.
Very creative. All right. Truth or dare?
I'm going to do another truth. True to myself. I'm going to do another truth.
Okay. Truth on my mind. I'll either put elevator music here or I'll snip some of this out. Okay, truth. All right. Okay, tell the truth of your characters in book 1. When I Won't My Boobs Grow. I'm like just gonna like really butcher that the whole time. When Won't My Boobs Grow?
It's a mouthful.
Both of them, yes. It works both ways. Which character, tell the truth, do you relate most to? Would it be the main character Emma? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
One. Okay.
Okay. Truth or dare?
Okay, I'll do another dare just for the heck of it.
Okay. Give me an example of like what other people.
You can dare me to invite a certain author on. You could dare me to read a certain book. You could dare me to post like anything on Instagram.
What's your favorite genres to read? I know you said you're a mood reader, but
yeah, I'm a major mood reader. In the romance world, I love like those epic love stories that have like nostalgia in them. I love accidental pregnancies. I like lots of groveling. If there's like a miscommunication trope.
I hate miscommunication. No.
When I say that, they're like, "Oh my gosh!" I'm like, "Oh, don't worry, it's just one of my many red flags."
No.
I like the single dad, single mom. Like, I'm all over the place right now. And if you would have asked me this like a couple months ago, I would have been like, mafia, hockey. Like, I'm just like all over the place. So you can't. Okay.
Well, I'm gonna veer away from that anyway. So, I dare you to read Angus Thongs and Full Frontal Snugging I mentioned earlier, which is a young adult book that like from the early 2000s that did like heavily inspire Won't My Boobs Grow.
Yes. Okay. I will. Absolutely. I'll even post a review for it just for the heck of it. Yes. Maybe I'll attach it to your review. your amazing 5-star review.
Oh my God. Stop it. Thank you.
Perfect. Well, that was fun and not easy. Truth or Dare is hard.
I was not expecting that when I chose it.
It had a bookish twist and also we're virtual, so it's like kind of challenging, but that was so fun nonetheless. Thank you. Hello, Kat. What's the name?
His name is Albus, just like Emma's cat. He is Emma's cat.
Aw, that is so cute. Well, that would be the perfect ad. So also, if you're watching this and you don't know, Rebecca sells these shirts. I just learned this as I'm trying to build my collection for like nostalgic shirts. So this is one of the ones, right? You have a couple different ones you said?
Yeah, so there's this one. This is like the teenage girl at heart, like nostalgic one. The other one is it's like Emma specific. It's like Emma, Ruby, and Cher. Like those shirts, like the names.
Yes, I have one that has like the original 90210 cast.
Yes. So that's like what it is. So yeah, those are on my website under the like pre-order Dear Boyfriend tab.
Well, thank you. So, I appreciate you coming on this episode, Rebecca. I had such a great time chatting with you. We have so much in common and just like really diving into those books. Cannot wait for book 2. I think you said it comes out either September or October, right?
Yes. Early fall. Haven't fully landed on a pub date yet, but September or October.
So early fallish, we will be able to read book 2 for Emma's journey. I will put all of the links in our caption of this video so that readers and watchers can find you. But do you want to just share with the reader or viewers where they can connect with you social media wise and where they can find your books? And I'll make sure the hyperlinks are below.
Of course, absolutely. So the easiest place to find me is on Instagram. That's where I spend most of my time. My handle is at Rebecca Garner _author. I also am on the TikTok, mostly just reusing the stuff I post on Instagram, but I do exist there.
Okay.
Barely, but I do.
I'll find you.
And then my website is just RebeccaGarnerAuthor.com. You can order signed copies of Why Won't My Boobs Grow and pre-order signed copies of Dear Boyfriend and Other High School Dilemmas. My books are also available wherever books are sold. Amazon, Barnes & Noble, bookshop.org.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that. Like I said, we'll put the links in the caption so people can easily click and find. I hope that you'll come back on this show when you have the next book release. for
Girl, anytime.
friends. Yes, I would absolutely be thrilled. Thank you again, and I will be in touch soon if any more questions come up.
Awesome.
All right.
Thanks,
Thank you so
Renee.
much, Rebecca. Have a great rest of
Bye.
your evening. Bye.
Thanks for watching this episode of She's All Books. Make sure you follow me on Instagram at She's All Books. If you're interested in appearing as a guest or partnership opportunities, please check out the links in the caption.